Hello, and welcome to What Now with Anna and Eric. I am Anna.
I am so confused.
Listen, it is only right if we change locations that I need to up my class.
What?
Yeah, it's true. You gotta it's like going to, who knows where we'll be next week. Could be Hawaii, could be
I just don't know why you're wearing sunglasses
the
inside.
beach.
I don't know why you're wearing
There's
sunglasses.
a whole song about it.
Why are you wearing sunglasses inside?
I don't know. There's a song about wearing sunglasses at night.
Yeah, but it's
Because it's...
number one, it's daytime.
Big,
Number two, we're
and
inside.
you should wear them in daytime.
And number three, we don't have any windows.
Number two, look at those lights.
Did you get your pupils dilated?
Number three.
Like, is there...
It hurts. It burns. I have supernatural powers.
You got something.
So, we are so excited to be with you here today where we are going to ask some fun questions, talk about some fun topics.
What?
Make fun of some people.
No.
Specifically Eric.
I would not.
And we are excited to be here with you.
Spiritual growth is a puzzle, and I'm a little bit muddled. What does discipleship even mean? What now? What now?
You realize that this thing is going to take up the whole shot.
What shot?
You know
the
what?
shot of what?
It's all about you.
They
all
can
about
still
you.
see your cool sunglasses.
Who
Don't
knows?
worry.
Who knows if they can?
Don't worry.
All right, so update
Sorry.
on my life.
Oh, that's what we always wait for.
Well, we got to mix it up sometimes. You
Bring
always go
it.
first, so I thought, why not change? You know what I mean?
Hit it.
Change is good. So I purchased, saved up, budgeted. Dave Ramsey, people, financial peace.
You
I
purchased
budgeted.
Dave Ramsey?
Oh,
How much
no,
did
no,
that
no.
cost you?
I did
Wow.
a lot of money.
That's some good
He's my
save.
personal
Yeah,
consultant.
Wow. I'm impressed.
No, I bought the latest Pokemon game, which is Sword and Shield. So I was like, yes. Went on some
What?
grand adventures. I caught a sheep. I was very excited about this. I was like, whoever decided to put sheep in a Pokemon game, genius.
Are you 5?
Called a Wooloo. Listen, it's really good, and I enjoy it. Am
What?
I 5?
What gaming platform did you purchase this Pokemon?
It
game
is
on?
Nintendo DS. What are you laughing about? Oh no, it's not a DS. It's a Switch. It's a Switch. Yeah, it's the latest one. A DS. That was wrong. It's very old school. No, it's a Nintendo Switch, and I saved up and I bought it.
You
and
own a
I'm having
Nintendo
fun.
Switch?
I do.
I didn't even know you owned a Nintendo Switch.
There's a lot about me you don't know, Eric.
I guess.
Third best friend.
Oh, so you play Minecraft and Pokemon and
Yeah.
Russian mobster dragon games.
Russian Monster Dragon game.
Or Castle? What's the game where you got into a Russian?
Oh, yeah, you're right. No, it was a castle game.
Castle game.
And for whatever reason, the Russians always invite me to their
That's
clans.
how they get you.
That's how they get you. It's a slow pull. I still have a Russian keyboard on my phone because you never know who's going to invite me next. Probably some Russians.
Hopefully, because that's the only other way that keyboard will
Yes.
be relevant.
So maybe they're on Pokemon.
All right. So is this a new Pokemon game or
Yeah,
is
it
it?
just came out
Wow.
the 16th. So I was saving up for like a month beforehand.
Nathan wants the new Star Wars game. Star Wars game just came out the 15th.
Those are usually really good.
Yeah. I don't know.
I don't know.
I got nothing. I ain't got time for that.
You got
I'm adulting.
So tell me about adulting. Tell me about your life. You
You
know
know,
what
just-
happened with
just-
my life. Oh wait, I do have one other thing.
Of course you do. That's all.
This is adulting. I
Oh,
am with my middle brother, Daniel, who's younger than me. We are collaborating to create a coffee table. So we got a big piece of black walnut,
Wow.
and I'm going to use some tung oil and spiff it up, seal it down, get some table legs.
Wow.
Yeah. So that was my adulting to go with my Pokemon story.
So if you're in the If you're
Woodworking.
if you're in the market for a coffee table, there might be a.
No, you can't have it. It's for me.
Wha- Wow.
Yeah, I'm making it for myself.
Wait, so my brother and I are collaborating to create this table, but it's only for me.
Yes, it is. Well, I am buying the piece of wood off of him.
Oh.
And then he's showing me, because he's made a lot of different things with woodworking. And so he was walking me through the process. We sanded it down together and everything.
So what process are you on right now?
I have
What part of the
to
process?
seal it with the tung oil, which is, you have to put like 10 layers on the top part, 3 layers on the bottom, 10 layers on basically the live edge. But you have to wait 24 hours between layers. So you can't just like put it all on at once. So it's really like a 10-day process.
Wow.
But I have to buy new tung oil because the kind my brother gave me, I couldn't even open because it like had dried and sealed itself. So I have to go buy some others. Like I was prepped. I had my gloves on. I had my cloth for rubbing it down. I had my vacuum for vacuuming up all the dust and everything. And then I couldn't even open the tung oil, so I have to go
I'm
get
having
some
a
new
hard
one.
time taking you seriously because you're still wearing sunglasses. Just so you know.
That's what cool people do, Eric.
I don't.
So tell me about adulting, which sounds boring.
Yeah.
And not at all fun.
I didn't get a new video game.
Yeah.
I haven't built anything out of wood.
Bummer.
I know. Man. Wow. I got nothing. I
Yeah.
can't.
Step it up.
No, I don't know if I can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
So, yeah, well, what are we going to do?
Yeah.
You're-
I guess we'll do a Sunday recap and we'll just move
Oh,
on from
man.
adulting.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I'll bring better news next week.
Okay.
I'll
Bring
try
better
to see-
news.
I'll see what I can
Manufacture
come up
something
with.
amazing.
Yeah. I feel like, yeah, I got nothing. Man,
It is
what a
it is.
boring week. Well,
So, Sunday recap. Sunday was really good. I
Wow.
actually watched it post because I was running around working on Sunday morning, but
You know-
Scott's message on point.
I think you need to take a little time for yourself on Sunday mornings. You come in here a lot and you always talk about how busy your Sunday morning is. I think, you know what? You need to hit the pause button on Sunday mornings and take a little bit of time to sit down and really take in the experience. Because, yeah, I think you're just a little too crazy. Like, a lot of times, I do know we live in a digital world, but you know what? Sometimes you're in the building where it's happening live.
Yeah, I'm still in community with people and whatnot.
Yeah, but you could sit there and experience it.
I experienced about 5 minutes, maybe 10. It depends. I have a lot going on.
What is a lot going on in the life of Anna on a Sunday morning? Like what was going on this Sunday? I was just curious. Give
Typically, it's next step stuff. So I have classes that happen on Sundays, so I have to set them up, prep them, get everybody together, make sure everybody shows up, put out my little signs, lunch things, different things.
people lunch.
Well, yeah, because it depends on what time it is. So some of the classes happen after. So,
Wow. So FYI, if
so
you're
for
looking
example,
to take a class,
this Sunday there is a class,
oh, look at this promotion.
How to Read the Bible, which I will be setting up for on Sunday. So, yeah, I'll be watching that.
So-
but it's a great class.
And lunch is provided?
Yep, lunch is provided, and it is
What do you get
after
for
the second
lunch?
experience. Typically, some delicious sandwiches.
Wow.
Usually, like a little dessert option.
What?
Some beverages.
A dessert option?
Yeah.
Wow.
Sometimes that can range from like a little cake thing to a candy bar.
Man.
Depends on what I get.
And you get to learn how to read the Bible?
And you get to learn how to read the
Like-
Bible. This is like ultimate.
How long is this class?
It's usually about hour 15 minutes. So not too long.
you're telling me this is a money back guarantee for this class. I am
that?
gonna, for an hour and 15 minutes, I'm gonna learn how to read the whole Bible.
Yes.
Wow.
It's gonna be great.
Don't spoil
Okay.
it.
Yeah,
But
does-
give
we can't walk it through
But
it right
how
now,
do you
but-
like? What's the process here? Can you give us a little like give me the teaser trailer for Sunday's class of how to read the Bible?
Teaser trailer for
Yeah.
Sunday's class. Well, it hits on different sections. It hits on like what are different genres in the Bible. It hits on what we call like what context do things occur in the Bible. It hits on like the overarching plot of the Bible, basically things that you would want to know. We also talk about like different translations. What does that mean? What should I use? What are good study habits? It's pretty extensive, but basically it's about how can I read the Bible in a way that I'm going to get the most out of it, and I'm going to get the original intended meaning as I can apply it to my life.
So if you come to this class on Sunday, hour and 15 minutes, lunch, and learn Hebrew and how to read the Bible in Hebrew.
There's no guarantee that you will learn Hebrew while we're there.
Greek?
Through osmosis.
Do you get to learn Greek? The Greek? No?
Yeah, no.
Oh, man. Do you teach strictly out of the King James version of the Bible?
I do not.
Man.
Yeah.
All right. Well, hey, we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, it'll be great.
I'm excited. Are you
So-
teaching it by yourself?
Show up if you can. Actually, no, I have a friend of mine is going to be teaching it this time, although I will be sitting in on the class.
Oh, watching,
And
taking
so-
notes, judging her.
taking notes. Exactly.
That's good.
No.
Yeah. Are you
We've
going to sit
gone
in the
through it a
corner
couple
and wear your
times already.
sunglasses?
Yes, I will. I'll sit in the corner, just like arms crossed, serious
Oh,
expression, sunglasses.
There you go. All right. Well, hey, you know what? I'm looking forward to it.
You should.
I'm pretty fired up.
It's real
now.
good.
I know.
So,
right,
anyways,
hit it.
Back to Sunday recap.
Give it to us.
Sunday recap. You usually have like a nice jingle. What
Yeah,
happened?
I would have, but Anna, what? I don't know if you understand this, but you slowly take control of the whole
Okay.
show.
Welcome to
Just so
Sunday
you-
recap.
Not ha- you've, the
what? I
the
just set
moment's
you
gone. Yeah, but the moment's gone.
It was not a moment
Yeah,
thing.
well, there
you just
was,
have
and
to
you
throw
went,
in and get it.
recap.
That's not even what I
That's
did.
it, recap.
All right, so good. Scott talked about it's week 2 of the series, The One. Who is your one? And he really went into some very good points. And again, took notes on my phone, and my phone is being used as a camera. Every time.
Anna, I want to take a minute. They put things on computers now. Look at it. It fits right on your desktop. You can put it right in
lovely.
front of it. There's messaging. I have this Evernote app, and I could pull it up like all my notes.
Do you
Right
have
here.
your Sunday notes?
But I could take it, like, look at here. I'm gonna show you a little something. I have my phone, and the Evernote app on my phone. I can make notes, and they will sync to my computer. So even if I put all my notes on my phone, it would still be on my computer as well.
That was nice of you to take
Crazy.
a couple minutes of time to brag about your technical
No,
prowess.
but I'm giving you solutions to your problems.
All right, I'll talk about it from memory.
Or if you had a pen and a piece of paper.
I know. I don't know why I don't
You
think to
could
write it
jot.
down. What is it? Just I don't know. It's like got my little notes.
I think-
wrote it all out.
I think what it is you're stuck in the in-between.
Yeah.
Like you haven't, you're trying to use technology.
Yeah.
You're trying,
It's true.
but you're still a pen and paper kind of person.
I have often been behind the times. This is
So-
true.
So like, you know that you want to start taking notes digitally, but you need to make that step to either have another platform to have those notes accessible or another platform to record the show.
You know what's interesting? I feel like, sometimes in the past we've gone into like fitness podcasts in the midst of regular podcasts, but I feel like we just went
Oh, yeah.
like technical podcasts.
Wait, we're trying to reach all audience.
Let's
we are
talk
all
about
we are all things for all
technology,
people.
what it can do for you.
All things for all people. That's what we're trying to be.
That's biblical.
What?
There's a verse about
Stop
that.
it.
It's real. It's a real thing.
You
Okay.
can learn about that verse on Sunday at the How to Read a Bible class.
Yes.
How to
You
read,
very
how to
well
read
may
the
feel that.
Bible,
How to
not
read-
how to read a Bible. How to read a Bible.
You open it, page 1. So
All right,
it was so
Scott
good.
Crownover,
Scott
rocking
Crownover
it.
talked about this moment where Jesus invites this guy Philip to come follow him, and then Philip immediately goes to his buddy Nathaniel, and he's like, "Hey, there's this guy Jesus, so cool. You got to check him out." And his friend Nathaniel's like, "Psh, this dude from Nazareth. What good has ever come out of Nazareth?"
Is that that
got
creeper
some
that was
attitude.
watching me sitting under the tree? Duh, that guy.
Who is that guy? And so Philip then says as a response to that question, he says, just come and see.
Yeah.
Come and check it out. Figure out what this Jesus business is all about. It was very good. It was just very good. And I took some notes on some different things too. But one of the things he did talk about was he talked about people, and I love the way that he worded this. He talked about the fact that when we go and we talk to people about Jesus, they will have a question. It's probably not going to be the what good can come out of Nazareth question, because culturally that just doesn't even matter to us. But people do have a question. And if they didn't have a question, they would already be hanging out with Jesus. So everybody has a question. And I was, as I was watching it, I was going to say as he was talking about it, as I was watching it, what really sparked for me was I had this moment. I used to work at a Walmart, and I was walking around doing I think it was some sort of rounds. It was a while back, so I don't exactly remember, with one of my coworkers. And I asked her, I was like, hey, what do you think about this Jesus business, basically? And she had a question, and her question was about evil and suffering. That was her hang up. And she said, I can't believe in God because of evil and suffering. What about this? What about this? And what about this? And I was like, what are the odds that of all the questions, that is a heavy hitter.
So, all right.
Yeah.
So what's funny is, because you didn't prep me on this, surprisingly. Didn't prep me on the direction we were going, but we, in our small group for Venture Youth High School, Sunday nights, 6:30 to 8:30, be there.
You're doing your own plug.
No, but I have a student in that group, and he just has tons of questions. He's like, I am just questioning everything right now. He goes, I can't get past all of the questions that I have. He goes, I had a strong relationship with God. I feel like I still have a relationship with God, he said, but I cannot get past all of these questions that I have. And I said, okay, here's what we're going to start. And we're going to start this week. I said, I want you to bring one of those questions to our group every Sunday night. And then we'll spend the week having discussions about that question and kind of research it and look into answering that question. We'll do it together. And his first question was, if God is so great and God is all powerful, why does God let bad things happen? And so it's funny that from your conversation walking around Walmart of why is there, that's, I think a lot of the times people's first questions is, if God's so great, why doesn't he just put a stop to all this bad stuff? And that's a question that I think a lot of people have. And it is a very heavy question, but it seems to be the one everybody throws right out of the gate. Like, this is my question. This is my hang up. And it's weird that is.
Well, and I think, we all have experienced suffering. We've all experienced evil. So it's a very close to the heart issue. And even to some extent, that's, I have heard people talk about it. Like people who don't believe in Jesus talking about it with other people who don't believe in Jesus. They can't prove this. They can't answer the question of evil and suffering. Like, what is that all about?
Well, and I think that's people who have those questions. I think it's one of those things where it's like, okay, you tell me how great God is. You say all these great things. You say how miraculous, how awesome and powerful he is. Well, if he's so powerful, why can't he just stop all this? And it's like, that's not the point. Like, that doesn't, if there was no evil, there was no bad, there was no suffering in the world, that doesn't prove that God is better than he is right now. And that's where I struggle with it, is I look at these situations and I'm like, okay, you have to take in all the factors because you don't know everything at play. And of course, right when he mentioned, how do we look at this? How do we question it? I did go and I started looking at the book of Job because of the fact that the guy went through some major stuff.
That was probably the biggest evil suffering story.
And it's really this battle or challenge between God and the devil. Job's just going through this suffering, this pain, these things happening, he's not sitting in heaven knowing the battle that's happening. He's not knowing the things that are going on behind the scenes. He's just seeing the cause or the effect on him. And he's like, well, why is God letting this happen? Well, because there's a situation going on that needs to resolve itself. There's something going on that he doesn't understand, you know? And I think if we try to understand God fully and completely, we're not going to be able to do that. So understanding that there's so much more that goes into situations in this world, there's so many factors that go in, we can't explain every single one of them. So bad is going to happen. Evil is going to show up. God can't protect every single part of it.
So 2 parts coming off of this. Number 1, if the evil and suffering question is the question that you're wrestling with and you want to talk about, there is a previous podcast episode where we go really in depth into the question of evil and suffering. So you can check that out if you go to iTunes, because that was before video. You can check out that episode where we really delve deep into that topic and the questions and different answers to things like that. But there is something that Scott did talk about this, and he said people are not going to accept Jesus when all their questions are answered. That's not when it happens. People are going to accept Jesus when they have an encounter with Jesus. And I can say of my own life that me accepting Jesus did not mean I had all the answers to my questions. I still don't have all the answers to all of my questions, because God in and of himself and the world in and of itself is just so deep and is so expansive and is so complex that we just can't possibly have all of the answers. I mean, if you think about it from a cultural perspective, science and different studies of like geology and nature and different things, they're always expanding, they're always evolving, they're always extending out in the future, because we don't have all the answers. And if we cannot have all the answers to the world we live in, how can we expect to have all the answers as it relates to God? Because God is so much more complex than the world we live in.
So you're saying it's about relationships and connection?
You just love that, don't you?
What?
But it is about that relationship. And from the perspective of questions, and I don't think Scott brought this up. I did not watch the end of the video. But
this might be an Anna exclusive.
Well, we don't know.
Exclusive.
Yeah, I'm sure he said something. But Jesus himself, as we just discussed this last week. Jesus was always asking questions of people's questions. And how interesting that Jesus, who legitimately has all the answers, never gave a straight answer to people who were questioning. Like, because people were asking, like, well, who are you? And how do you do this? And what about this? And Jesus, who legitimately knew the answer to their questions, did not answer them. Instead, he asked a question of them.
Yeah.
How interesting is that?
Once again, and hey, I don't know what podcast it is to reference, but really, like I've learned in the past, it's guided discovery. It's when coaching little kids or helping little kids through situations, understanding that, okay, I can very simply just tell you the answer to that. And then you've got the answer. That's great. But if I kind of point you in that direction and guide you with questions and you discover the answer, now you're learning and it's going to stick more because you've made it personal. You've connected the dots yourself. And I think that's when it comes to faith, is that come and see, or as Scott put it, you set up the meeting between somebody and Jesus. Then you let God be God in that situation, and you let him work in the life of the person that you set up that meeting with, because they're going to discover that their situation might be different than yours, might be different than the other person's, but it's going to be personal to them. And then through that guided discovery, through giving them that meeting to ask those questions, to pray through situations, to experience it themselves, they're going to connect with their authentic faith.
Yeah.
So,
pretty cool.
Set up the meeting. Way to go, Scott.
So, having said this, so we kind of talked about with Scott, which is if I was going to summarize it, it is you don't have to have all the answers, right? Would you kind of agree with that?
I do. I
Yeah.
have to.
Okay, Eric
But-
does have to have all the answers.
That's
But what I want to talk about just
Uh-oh.
as a chunk today is that even though we don't have to have all the answers, we do need to have some answers. So I believe it is in 1 Peter, and I don't have it in here. It's probably in my other notes. But it says something along the lines of, be prepared on every occasion to give an answer to your faith. You could probably look that up. But we don't need to have all the answers. We do need to have some of the answers. And specifically, do you know, so the Bible says, and it says it as Jesus gives what is called the Great Commission, as he's about to go to heaven, he says, go out and tell people about the good news. And so in the perspective of that, do you know and can you articulate what the good news is? Sometimes we call it the gospel. Sometimes people call it the good news, but really it is just.
Taco Tuesday.
Is that what it's called? That's what we're naming it.
That's
Taco
good.
Tuesday.
That's-
So when
Taco
somebody's
Tuesday's
like,
good
"Hey,
news.
I want to learn about Jesus," be like, "Let me tell you about Taco Tuesday."
Let me tell you a little bit about tacos. It's good news. Taco Tuesday is
Yeah,
good news.
It is. Actually, it is pretty good news.
See?
Taco Tuesday is a wonderful day. I don't even like tacos most of the time,
What?
but
Stop it.
it's true. But you know what? A good tortilla with some like sour cream, tomatoes, lettuce. It's good. Which
No-
really
no
isn't
meat?
so much a taco as a sandwich. But it feels right.
But you're serious? You're gonna go?
Well, sometimes there's beans, but no, I don't usually add
Wow.
burger to it. I don't like meat on.
Chicken, pork, nothing.
No.
Wow.
nothing.
Huh.
Not typically.
Yeah. Well, look at that. We're learning so much about you today, Anna. I think it's the
Endless depth.
sunglasses.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you can really tell that I'm a mystery with these glasses on because you can't see my eyes. Anyways,
Anywho,
so
I'm looking.
let's
it
talk
up
about
for
the
you.
good news.
Oh.
So
tell me
I
some
kind of
good
want to
news.
break it down in a couple different parts. So number one, God created us, right, to be with Him.
Truth.
Number two, we sinned.
Screwed it up.
Bummer.
Totally screwed it up.
Number three, there was a price to pay for our sin because of consequences.
Is it death?
And it, yes,
Ah,
yes. And
winner.
Jesus paid it. And then number four, eternal life.
Yeah.
I think it kind of summarizes.
Jesus is
So
like, I got you.
created, sin, Jesus paid the price, eternal life. That's kind of how I would
Nailed it.
break it down.
All right.
And so it's good to know those things. You know what? Actually, I was teaching this lesson one time on, I think it was called God Wins, when the odds are stacked, basically. But part of that was talking about the creation theory. And I'd said theory for some reason, talking about the creation story.
Uh-huh.
And I was thinking about this, and I was like, when the devil was there in the tree, and he was talking to Adam and Eve, and he was like, listen, when you eat, or you're not going to die if you eat this, right? Like, he's telling them that, knowing that God said, if you eat it, you're going to die. And then I just wonder, was he surprised when they didn't immediately die? Like, was he like, oh man, I got the wrong tree. Move over one. Let's try this one over here. Like, did he know that it was like I don't know. I feel like I would have been surprised by that. This
Or-
is just a random hypothetical situation that I was pondering. Right? Because you would assume you eat it, you die. It's probably immediate, right? Like, that would be my assumption.
Yeah, but
I just wonder if that's what he was thinking.
so here is my deep theological discussion on this because I don't know. I'm going to say I
Nobody
don't know.
knows.
But but I'm wondering if it has to do something with the translation and the meaning of the word death in that situation.
Oh, gosh.
Like if
I
it-
wish somebody was teaching Greek and Hebrew in the How to Read the Bible class.
I know that
Not happening.
Totally would have been great. But I mean, I wonder if he he knows that it's going to be the eventual fall, not like it's an eventual death.
Mm-hmm.
It's the situation that's going to come by
Yeah.
eating that fruit.
You know what else I was thinking about too? Was pondering this.
Yeah.
Wow,
hit
this
it.
is so off topic, but
It's
not
all right.
at the same time.
Listen, it's not like we are usually laser focused. And
Yeah,
dead
that's
on.
true. We are dead on.
So-
No rabbit trails.
So yeah.
But I was thinking about the why question, right? So here's the devil.
Like solve for why?
He already lost.
Yes.
He knows he's going to hell. but he still wants to take as many of us with him as he can.
Yep.
And I just think it can't be because he just really dislikes us, right? Right? Is it because he just dislikes God so much? He's like, psh, I know I'm going to go down, but I'm going to take as many of your people with me as I can.
I mean,
It's got to be a personal vendetta.
Yeah,
It's got to be.
I mean, you talk about what does God tell us to do? Forgive, to love. Well, what's the devil going to do in this situation? If he's defeated, he's not going to, oh, God, I forgive you. You're right. We're good. You know what? I'm going to stop. No,
I wish he would.
make things a
I
lot
wish he
easier.
turned around.
Yeah, but it's...
I've prayed for him.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
That is a straight
Does that
up
say a lot about me?
That's a straight up bold prayer right there.
I don't know.
Like we're taught, pray for your enemies, you know.
Well, he is my enemy.
I know, but
I
that's
don't
what I
know.
said. Like, you are praying for the enemy.
I was like, I know that this cannot. I have no idea theologically if this would even work, but I don't know. I felt it one day, and I was like,
yeah, huh? That's question for another time.
Question.
Is the devil beyond salvation?
right? Right? Oh, man. That is crazy. Well, because he's an angel, right? Like, that's who he is. He's not like some great entity of evil. He's just like an angel that made some really bad choices.
Like all the bad choices.
All of the bad choices. And then some.
And then
And
continue.
then some bad choices. Yeah. I don't know. Way off topic. Okay, let's talk about the good news.
Good
The good
news.
news is you are not beyond salvation, and neither is your friend. Okay, so number 1, God created us.
Yes.
You can find this in Genesis chapter 1, verse.
That's right at the front of the Bible.
It's right at the front. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can just like, so
Yeah.
somebody's like, well, where do you see that? Genesis.
Yeah, go right to
Genesis
the front.
chapter 1. You can see it there. We sinned. Sin separated
Go
us
a
from
little
God.
bit past the front.
Genesis chapter 3. Yeah, it's really not that far.
If you go out of Genesis, you went too far. Go
Yeah,
back.
yeah, go
out
back.
a little bit.
Say it. Genesis, by the way, means the beginning.
There you go.
Start at the beginning. So, God created us. We sinned. And then Jesus died and paid the price for our
Wow.
sin.
You skipped a lot.
Yeah, we're ignoring the whole rest of the Old Testament. So Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, all of those
Yeah.
good ones.
Yeah.
Usually you tell people that. Usually that's actually where you tell people to start
Yes.
is in John, because and John does talk about the beginning.
Yeah.
In the
Well-
beginning there was God, the Word was God, et cetera, et cetera.
And I don't want to infringe on your teaching
Please,
of the class on
infringe.
Sunday, but when I was first brought into, they kind of taught me how to read the Bible. When that's where they started me, was John, because they said, this is number 1. It's the good news, but it's presented in a very positive, uplifting way. He writes in a very uplifting manner, and it does speak on in the beginning. This is, so it kind of starts from that. It gives you that foundation, and it gives you that uplifting, where if you read Matthew, Mark, Luke, the scientific approach it maybe portrays a little bit of Jesus's flipping the tables, whips, and like that sort of portrayal of Jesus, where John is definitely more of that uplifting good news starting point. Mm-hmm. So,
yeah. And as far as the eternal life, which is step 4, also found in John. So you really could hit the full marks of the gospel.
yeah.
First 3 chapters of Genesis, Book of John. Boom,
Or,
done.
just hit Genesis, John, Revelation.
You could go full on. Like if we are talking what happens at the end, Revelation.
And let's not get crazy here. Let's go Genesis, so you
Yeah.
get creation.
Yeah.
John, so you get the good news. Acts, so you kind of see the establishment of the church.
That's you
And
can
then
do that
Revelation.
too. Right. And then Revelation. But as it goes for sharing the good news with people,
There
that's
you go.
just a good place to start.
There you
Yeah.
go, Book of John. Hit
Book
it.
John. So, but that's good to know. Like that's like something where you don't have to know everything, but it's good to know that. Like it's good to know. Okay, can I explain the good news to people? Can I even tell them where to find it? Right.
Yeah.
Another good thing to know: how to lead people through, like accepting Jesus. I mean, it's pretty easy to just be like, do, go through the prayer. I know I've sinned. Jesus, I want you into my life. That's pretty much it.
There you go.
But it's kind of funny to say you might want to practice that, because in the moment you're like, oh, do I even know how to lead somebody to Jesus? Like, is this, like, somehow we expect it to be this really complicated, powerful thing. It's very powerful for sure, but it's really not complicated,
No.
And then, believe and be baptized. Boom. Done.
Boom.
Done.
Look at this. We've just hit all the marks.
We hit all.
Like, listen,
Some marks we weren't meaning to hit.
Do you know how many people you will save you can save like hundreds of people in a day with this simple
process.
Simple thing.
Just start walking.
You make some photocopies, the Book of John, give it to
Do
them.
your pocket testament.
Yep.
And
just be like,
just
hey,
go at it.
Do you accept it? Good. Baptized.
But
boom.
Okay, so
Yep.
you don't need all the answers.
No.
You're just inviting people to meet Jesus. But it is good to have some of the answers.
Yes.
So it is good to know, what is the good news? How can I lead somebody to a prayer to accept Jesus? And that's basically the essentials. If you're there, you're covered. Now, it is good to find answers to questions that they have and questions that you have, because we want to encourage each other, lift each other up, and make each other strong in the faith. But it's not something you have to have all right now. You don't.
And I think that's an important part of it, because it's not just that and just be done. Like, if you take time and you really share the good news with somebody, and because you open that invitation and because of them developing that relationship, they are now ready to accept Jesus into their life, and they do accept Jesus, then I think that last component is stick with them, walk alongside of them, like be a part of that, because
be in relationship.
What?
Yeah, I know.
Look at that. Love
but help
one
them to
another.
grow spiritually.
Yeah.
Just because somebody accepts Jesus doesn't mean we ditch them. That's actually one of the biggest reasons why I'm very much behind Next Steps, very much behind what now, what do we do now? Because there are times where people accept Jesus and then they just get dropped and they're like, I don't know what to do now. And so they go away.
So you're saying when somebody calls me, they'll be like, hey, remember you got me to accept Jesus? That was awesome. I'll be like, listen, dude, my job's done.
My job's done.
I've moved on.
You're on your own.
Yeah.
Self-discovery.
Yeah, but listen, I already did this. I'm on to my next person.
That's right.
There
So,
you go.
hang in with people.
Hang in there.
Yeah. All right. So that basically summarizes today. We're
need-
reaching the end here.
We need one of those kitty posters that says hang in there.
Yes.
Oh, that
like
would-
off of the Lego movie?
Yeah.
Yeah. So good.
Or
Cat
just off of
posters.
any elementary school teacher's classroom wall.
Cat posters are just essential. They're good.
Yeah, cats aren't, but
Cat posters.
cat posters, I'll go with them. I'm not a huge
You
cat
would.
fan.
You're a dog person.
I am. Totally a dog person.
I'm a sheep person. Pokemon, mythical creatures, all of that business. But thank you for listening to What Now with Ann and Eric. We will perhaps see you at the How to Read the Bible class or student ministry or church on Sunday. We would like to
Well,
invite you to church.
Hey,
Come to Venture.
careful, because you might not see. Anna's a tough one. You might not
That's-
see her on
that's
Sunday.
true.
You
I
have
am
to
usually
find her.
wandering
Yeah.
around.
It's like your own live action Pokemon Go trying to
Yeah,
find
like-
Anna on Sunday.
Where'd she go? I'm a rare creature.
Yes, she is a rare creature.
So-
And if you see somebody, some weirdo wearing sunglasses
Wow.
inside,
It could be Eric.
could be me. I might pick up
Yeah.
that trend.
So thank you
right.
for listening to What Now with Ann and Eric.
I think we
I
accomplished
am
a
Anna.
lot. Yep, I'm Eric.
And we are so happy that we got to talk to you.
I know I am.
Bye.